Hi, Dr. Reagan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
With 50 implants, let's say at 4,000 a piece, I mean, that was a $200,000 6-day kind of thing. So we really had a great outcome.
Welcome to the Everyday Practices Podcast. I'm Reagan Robertson, and my co-host, Dr. Chad Johnson, and I are on a mission to share the stories of everyday dentists who generate extraordinary results using practical, proven methods you can take right into your own dental practice. If you're ready to elevate patient care and produce results that are anything but ordinary, buckle up and listen in.
Hey everyone, this should be the shortest episode ever of Everyday Practices Dental Podcast. This is Dr. Chad Johnson. And right now we are in April of 2024. I wanted to catch up with a couple other Productive Dentist Academy doctors and do the Yomi Dental Implant robot. So John Ehlers down in Missouri, Clint Use out in Carson City, Nevada. And I had seen on Facebook, other guys that were killing it with it. And I also had demoed it in August of 2021, figured let's give it a shot. I talked to you guys about how I had scheduled a bunch of patients by sending them texts and stuff like that. You can see a previous episode on that. Because we ended up lining up about 60 implants. And so I just thought I'd give you an update on our Yomi training. We did 2 weeks of intensive training with it. Basically, it comes with the package of buying it that they have trainers come in and show you how to hook everything up, make sure the assistants know how to sterilize and disinfect and, connect everything, disconnect everything. Patient flow with getting the CT scan with the right trackers in place and everything like that. So we had 2 days of modules where we were, not working on live patients, and we would do some implant placement in some styrofoamy, stone model kind of stuff or whatever. And then we even worked on edentulous arches, being able to hook the Yomi bone link onto bone. It's kind of like bone mesh with screws, except this is for attaching the radiographic marker. That fiducial marker that stays on when the patient moves, it holds that in place. So that way the robot knows where the patient is and therefore where the implant placement is going to be at all times. So then we had 2 days last week and 4 days this week, 6 days total of clinical work where we could schedule as many patients. Because we had done some legwork, we had, I think, 25-ish patients. One patient kicked it out until May, so we'll get him scheduled for his 10 implants the next month. We also recorded a radio ad, and we then had that posted saying, we had a great response. And so our next Yomi days are May 21st and 22nd. You could also do this for Invisalign, right? I mean, Invisalign's been around for 25 years or something like that. So it's not as wow factor as the Yomi robot or whatever the next big thing is, or the last big thing, but you could do something like that. Wow, we've had a great response. We've had 25 patients last month, sign up for Invisalign or for us, for our Yomi implants. And we placed 50 implants in 6 days. And it's a Friday right now. I'm kind of beat. We had a great turnout. We offered a discount, and that helped cut down or, cut down the cost so that way patients would almost have to say yes. And then we, 50 implants, let's say at 4,000 a piece. I mean, that was a $200,000 6-day kind of thing. So we really had a great outcome. That's $200,000 start to finish, for getting started on people for their crowns, bridges, full arches, stuff like that. With all the, little stuff, abutments, stuff, all that. So I just wanted to kind of give an update. So we did our 2 weeks of training. The assistants have done great. It was great having the trainers in there. They really were helpful. And then it was also nice for us, to be able to procedurally understand when you lay the flap and you've got the robot in the way on the maxillary, that, sometimes it's easy more on dentate patients. It's a lot harder on edentulous patients, for holding the flap and visualizing it in a mirror on the maxillary and placing the implant. What's really cool though? Once you get the robot in the position, you can, I was doing the guided surgeries left-handed. I'm right-handed. I was doing it left-handed because all you really need to do is pump the handpiece in and out to depth. You can't over pump it. It can't go deeper. I pushed as hard as I could just to try it out on the stone model when we were doing the modules. I could get it to go 0.3 millimeters beyond where the implant was designed. You can design the implant ahead of time. You can design it on the fly. At one point I put it in and I realized, I feel like this is moved to the mesial in reality by, 1.5 millimeters. So we moved it back 3 clicks, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5 millimeters to move it distally 1.5 millimeters where the implant was. And sure enough, then it put it right where I wanted it. That was just one time that I felt like it was better positioned to the back, but you can make those changes on the fly. Another cool thing, you can angle the drill bit or the implant, I suppose, but the drill bit where you want the implant to go, and then tell it to drop an implant here and it'll put it into the CT scan right there. So if you kind of want to eyeball it, you can do that and then drop it down into bone more or move it one way or another to make sure you're not in the sinus or hitting an IA nerve. You can also shorten it up, stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, a great 6 days, to get started. And you guys should check into it. It's not for everyone. But if you're into placing implants and you've got, a ton of cash or the willingness to sign your life away for a big loan, it's like a CEREC and then some. But it would be, worth checking out for some of you guys. So I wanted to give you an update. We indeed had 25-ish patients, about 50 implants when all is said and done. I've got more lined up for May. We made new radio ads that's getting, some momentum on our side. And I'm really excited about it. Hopefully this ended up being the shortest podcast ever. Give it a like. You guys have a great day doing your everyday practices next week. Take care.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Everyday Practices Podcast. Chad and I are here every week thanks to our community of listeners just like you, and we'd love your help. It would mean the world if you can help spread the word by sharing this episode with a fellow dentist and leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. Do you have an extraordinary story you'd like to share or feedback on how we can make this podcast even more awesome? Drop us an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts from Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentist.com/podcasts. See you next week.